Hi everybody, my name is Rebecca Beattie. I'm one of the Treadwell's regular tutors and I'm an author of books such as The Wheel of the Year and also The Way Through the Woods and Planetary Magic. I thought what I would do today for midwinter is just to share some thoughts with you about what that midwinter period might represent where you are, and then we're going to do a little bit of witchy magic to try and increase our feelings of sunshine returning and the hope that comes with the rebirth of the sun at the midwinter solstice. One of the themes for midwinter for Yule and for very other names that you might come across at this time is the sun. This is a solar festival. This is a festival where we remember the returning of the light, just as our ancient ancestors did millennia ago. This is not a new festival, this is one that we've been celebrating since the dawn of time. Winter season, particularly for those of you that might be struggling at this time of the year, if you find the darkness is too oppressive or the amount of Christmas jollity is oppressive, or sometimes spending time in a extended period with family members can feel tough, and there's all sorts of challenges that we face at this time of the year. So I just wanted to do a couple of things with you. One is that I'm going to show you in a little while how to make a lovely, cheerful, health-inducing midwinter oil. We're going to be doing that. But also I wanted to read a little section for you from my book, The Wheel of the Year, in which I include all sorts of helpful suggestions for things that you might do at this time of the year or rituals that you might like to perform just to mark this turning of the season. And we're about to go from our sort of nights and mornings being really dark and very lengthy to a point where marginally you might not notice it straight away, but from that midwinter sunrise on about the 21st of December, we're going to start to see the daylight slowly increasing day by day incrementally. So there is hope on the horizon. I always think that midwinter for me is a very optimistic season because of that feeling of having really struggled through the darkness and coming to a point where we know our mornings are going to start to get lighter and our evenings are going to start to get shorter, and that midwinter period as well. Perhaps what we can do is reframe it in our minds, and rather than think about it's this awful period of dark, cold winter. Some of us love it, I do personally. But maybe what we can do is start to reframe some of those thoughts and actually see it as a season where you can wrap up warm, hibernate with your loved ones a little bit, and see it as a nurturing time. The darkness can feel nurturing sometimes. So if you've been in my Wheel of the Year classes, you will have seen the diagram that I always show at the beginning of the classes that shows what the Wheel of the Year looks like. All of our 8 Sabbats that we follow around the year when we're following nature and just watching the signs of what's happening in nature where you are right now. Obviously, if you live in the northern hemisphere, we're approaching the solstice, the winter solstice, or midwinter, or Yule. If you're in the southern hemisphere, none of this is going to make any sense whatsoever because you'll be approaching your midsummer point and actually feeling like, what's she on about? We're not getting dark. We've got nice, long, lengthy days at the moment. So I always encourage you to look at nature where you are, where you live, what's happening around you. Don't necessarily feel that you have to look to the British Isles as being the only way to celebrate these festivals, because where you live is where nature is, and that's what I'd like you to focus on. So I'm just going to read for you a little section on how we might think about reframing that dark period of midwinter for ourselves. You might have noticed that the name I gave to this first segment of the Wheel of the Year is Midwinter. Pagans call this festival Yule, but I like Midwinter as it takes us away from the many different denominational views and returns us to the archetypal perspective. It also connects us directly to what the landscape is doing at this time, resting. Deciduous trees draw their growth down into the roots during those coldest months, while non-human animals such as bears, bats, hedgehogs, bees, wood frogs and some squirrels enter into a state of hibernation when the temperatures drop and food becomes scarce. Birds such as geese and swallows fly to warmer areas around the globe to escape the winter. While following the geese might be appealing, wintering is a crucial activity, giving the earth time to renew itself. And what is essential for other living things and the earth itself is usually vital for us too. It's just that we've forgotten about it when we became disconnected from nature. So why do we celebrate the darkest part of the year? This is a time when our primal fears awaken. The fear of an enchanted, never-ending winter, or what might lurk in the lengthening shadows deep within the forests. For some of us, the darkness of winter also heralds an encroaching sadness and depression that comes from reduced vitamin D, which we usually glean from sunlight, and our levels of serotonin, the hormone that helps us maintain our mood, appetite and ability to sleep, can plummet with the temperatures. The lack of sunlight also affects our circadian rhythms, causing our body clock to falter. We might feel lethargic and irritable, we might start craving sugary foods and gaining weight, which then exacerbates the feelings of lethargy and the lack of interest in the world. In the deepest, darkest part of winter, we are at our most vulnerable as we also face the darkness within. Our death rates also increase in winter. Yet times of darkness can also give us a moment of pause and a moment of refuge. Wintering invites us, at this time of hibernation, to strip back our own layers, to see what lies beneath the masks that we present to the world. I would love you to think about the theme of this first turn of the wheel as being you. Who is the real you behind the carefully constructed persona? Who is it that you see in the mirror when you're tempted to look away so quickly? If you struggle to work this one out, you could try sitting with a pen and 2 pieces of paper, one where you write down a list of the masks that you present to the world, and one where you write how you feel on the inside when you're wearing those masks. Sometimes it takes bravery to stand firm and look ourselves in the eye without flinching. This is the essence of naked, just as the deciduous trees, naked form, naked truth, naked self. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you stand in front of a mirror naked and non-judgmentally look at what the true nature of your body is, although you're welcome to try that. This dark wintering period can be a nourishing time of rest and retreat for each of us. How might you foster that in your life? You might not be able to stop working, but you might be able to choose to increase the amount of healthy, nourishing food that you eat, or the number of duvet sessions that you allow yourself. Remember, this is about healthy rest, nurturing and recharging. You might switch off the television and give yourself the gift of time to do the things that make you feel loved and cared for. When it feels as if the world might not be looking out for your well-being, make sure you fulfill this need for yourself. As the self-help guru Wayne Dyer says, don't equate your self-worth with how well you do things in life. You aren't what you do. Let that sink in for a moment, for this Sabbath at least, and just be. While many of us might feel that shops filled with fairy lights and Christmas cards when we're barely past Samhain is a bit much, my friend Lizzie's take on this is that people need hope in the darkness. So the earlier we can turn on those twinkly lights and give ourselves a sense of hope and magic, the better. And the later we can leave them on too. Light is such an essential part of well-being that sometimes I find it helpful to focus on how the sun is portrayed in our collective storytelling traditions. In the tarot, the sun card is said to represent health, hope, vitality, good fortune, happiness, and the universe helping you forwards along your chosen path. It's not hard to see why light, and sunlight in particular, is so important to us. In a witch's circle, we meditate on the light returning, bringing hope of a better future. And if we can't have the sun, what harm is there in cheating a little by gathering together some twinkly lights and candles? So I would invite you at the moment, in this season of darkness and cold, to just hunker down a little, get cosy where you are, get warm where you are if you can, and light some candles and just meditate on those flames, or light a lamp and just think about how important the light is to you and that returning light and what it might symbolise. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is switch over to the other camera so that you're looking at Alticam, not my face, and we're going to make a midwinter Return of the Sun solar healing oil. So if you've been in any of my classes before, you'll know that for me, the essence of witchcraft is in the witchcrafting. It's the crafting part that I always emphasise. And for any of our festivals, I always like to give a sense of things that you might do craft-wise, what you might be able to make in your home that can make this an extra layer of meaning for you. Now, because I've said to you already that this is a solar festival, what we're doing is we're going to make a solar oil. Now, the sun as a pre-modern planetary power is one that governs things like health and happiness and success and all of those lovely qualities that we've come to associate with sun magic. So what we're going to create today is a solar healing oil, and I'm just going to demonstrate this for you as we get started. So I have, to make this solar oil, I have certain ingredients that you might need to order online, but other things that you will find around the house. To start with, what I'm going to do is our solar planetary number is 6. So I'm going to make things in quantities of 6 if I can, and it just adds a layer of extra planetary meaning to what we're doing. So I've got 3 essential oils I'm going to include in my blend. I've got an orange essential oil, and I have a neroli essential oil, which is orange blossom, and also frankincense, which is something that we always associate with midwinter. For any of you that have grown up in a monotheistic Christian setting, you will have come across the idea of gold, frankincense and myrrh. That's a symbol that predates Christianity. It's older than that. It goes back to our 4000 BCE, to our magical ancestors who were practicing planetary magic. The first time it was recorded anyway was about 4000 BCE. It probably predates that. So if you want to learn more about that, you can read my book on planetary magic. But for now, what I'm going to do is take my essential oils, and if you've worked with me before, you'll know I'm not great at measuring. I'm not great at counting. I lose count and I forget things, and I'm very much let's throw a dash of this and a dash of that. So rather than counting out drops of essential oil, I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to do 6 dashes of essential oil, the orange essential oil. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you'll see the dashes get bigger as I get further on. One of the things that I'll say to you is that this oil is not really designed for use on the skin. This is an oil that I'm assuming is probably a bad word, but I would be recommending that you use this oil either as a room scenter, so you can add it to a diffuser and make the room smell amazing. It'll give you that real Christmassy feeling of, you know, the orange scents. Or you can anoint candles with it, or you can add it to perfumer's alcohol and then turn it into a room spray. It's all sorts of things you can do. It's not really one for direct application onto the skin. If you do that, then just make sure you're checking what the contraindications are on the essential oils before you do, in case of any allergic reactions. So this is really a room scenting essential oil blend. So I've got my 6 dashes of orange. I'm going to add 6 dashes of neroli. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my 6. And then I'm going to add some frankincense. Now, frankincense essential oil, frankincense, the actual, this is the frankincense pearl. So what I'm using is the essential oil that is extracted from actual frankincense resin. Frankincense resin has been used by humans for millennia in sacred settings. It's one of the things that was burnt in the temples in ancient Egypt and beyond. So it's a really well used, well loved smell that was often used as a clearing. It was an energy clearing smell, so it's a cleansing smell. And then adding that to the orange and the neroli, which are both health giving, what we're getting is a lovely blend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What we're getting is a lovely blend of oils, and if you had smell-o-vision right now, you would realise that this smells amazing. I can smell it from there. I'm just going to check the scent is exactly how I want it to be. And then what I'm going to do, I've created yesterday, I pre-prepared these. These are frankincense pearls that I infused in orange oil. They make a lovely incense of their own, but I'm also going to add these to the actual oil blend as well, because it just gives us an extra layer of smell and also that solar energy that we're wanting to add to our essential oil blend. So that's the 6 blobs of frankincense. I'm obviously getting all sticky and oily as I'm doing this, but that's fine too. So the final ingredient for my room oil, because that's pure essential oil, and while it's lovely, I'd like it to last a bit longer. So I'm going to add some sunflower oil, which is sunflower. Again, it's got that solar energy to it. Sunflowers are ruled, they're governed by the sun, obviously. They look like the sun and they bring that lovely solar energy in. So I'm going to top this little, it's kind of like an egg cup sized pot with oils. I'm going to top that all the way up to the top with sunflower oil, which is just straightforward supermarket sunflower oil. There's nothing special about that particular ingredient. So then what we have is this beautiful, lovely smelling solar energy in an oil, and that's what we're going to use to anoint our candles on the midwinter solstice. If you're conducting a ritual, you might want to use it there. And as I said, you can add it to perfumer's alcohol or witch hazel and add it to an atomizer spray and use that as a perfume smell as well. And all the while that you're mixing those oils, just think about that intention that we're setting, that this oil is there to create and foster a sense of health and well-being and success for anybody that's using it. And it makes a great gift as well if you want to add it to a little, you know, you can add it to a little glass bottle and label it up and give it to a friend as well. So that is our health-giving solar oil for the midwinter period. So that's everything for now. I'm just wishing you a very, very happy and peaceful and healthy midwinter period. I hope you really enjoy the solstice and Christmas and any other light giving festivals that you might be celebrating at this time of year, because all of our different faiths and religions have a version of a festival that celebrates the return of the light. So enjoy it, whatever you're doing, and I will look forward to seeing you in the new year in our next round of Zoom room classes. Bye for now.